Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, educates, and empowers you through life's transitions. Today is a very special day. I mean, all days are special, right? But today we are going to talk about a topic that needs to be addressed right now because it keeps coming up over and over and over again. I keep hearing from people that they're feeling scared, they're feeling lost, they're feeling uncertain, they're got a lot of fear and anxiety about what's going on in the world, and it's affecting every single person on this planet. There's no one who's immune to what's happening in the world right now, which is just so astonishing. So after hearing over and over again from clients, from fans, from followers, what they're going through, the emotional state that they're going through, I thought it would be really pertinent right now to bring on experts in the field of confidence. Because when you suffer from lack of confidence, it shows up in your life in many different ways. You've got feelings of self-doubt, of low self-worth, even if you don't describe yourself this way, but this is what's going on with you. And then it has this ripple effect, and it causes these other emotions and results to start happening in your life. For instance, you are not a very good decision maker. You suffer from procrastination, and because you don't have enough confidence in yourself to make decisions, to be able to empower yourself. And so my special guest today is Elle Russ. She is an author and a show host, and she has done so many things. She's written 2 books, Confident as FUCK. I'm not going to say it on here. I keep my show as clean as I can, but that doesn't mean guests have to do it. And the Paleo Thyroid Solution. And I'm going to read her bio when I bring her on, but she is a phenomenal woman making such a difference in the world, and how she empowered herself and used her level of confidence to help heal her illnesses, as well as many other things, is going to blow your mind. So you really want to stick around for her interview and hear her story. She's just a fantastic woman, dynamo woman. So we're going to do that with Elle in a few minutes. And before we get into that, I just want to kind of give you some updates about what's going on at I Have Today. And then I'll bring on Elle for our interview. Then we get into our Mentor Me Minute segment, where you can ask me questions live here on air, and I will mentor you for 1 whole minute. Chances are I will mentor you for a few whole minutes because I always go over a minute. It's just what I do. But where you can catch our show is we are live every Monday at 11:03 a.m. here in San Diego, and you can catch us on E360 TV, YouTube, and Facebook Live at I Have Today with Diane Forster. Facebook and YouTube are on my page, I Have Today with Diane Forster. Where I can see your comments is through Facebook Live. So if you want to say hello, let us know who you are, where you're from, whatever your questions are, and you want to engage in this episode, that's where you need to do it. So if you're watching it somewhere else, scoot on over to I Have Today with Diane Forster. All right. So, what's been going on here? Okay, well, first of all, I'm in California. We are in San Diego, and there is so much going on between the fires and COVID and everything that's going on. So I just want to send out prayers to all the people who are suffering through that. Fortunately, right now, where we are in San Diego, we're in a safe area. So we've been blessed and really lucky not to have the impact. But I've talked to a lot of people from San Diego all the way up to Northern California who are really suffering through this. So our prayers go out to all of you, and a special shout out to all the people in service, not only the firefighters, but all the people in the medical industry, all the people who are public servants who get up every day and use their lives and risk their lives to help and serve other people. Just sending you love and light and prayers to you too. It's just incredible the work that you do. So, and we just had, it was officially the last week of summer. I know a lot of people think Labor Day is the last week of summer because that's when kids go back to school and all of that. But according to the calendar, the last week of summer was just this last weekend. So I hope you spent some time enjoying time with your family, time with your friends, doing things that you enjoy doing, and carved out a niche of time where you really just relaxed and paid attention to yourself and you pampered yourself. So, okay, upcoming things here at I Have Today, real quick. We are 3 weeks post our big event. We hosted a 3-day live virtual event called the Have It All Life virtual event. And it was a phenomenal event. It was for women only. And it was a 3-day journey where the attendees got taken through the 8 key areas of their life, and then they were giving the 8 principles on how to get whatever it is you want, to literally manifest whatever it is you want. And so many breakthroughs came out of that. There was so much love shared. And one of the biggest takeaways was people were missing connection. I mean, we're human beings and we're missing, physical connection. We're missing hugs. We're missing time bonding together. And even though it was a virtual experience, there were ways that we weaved in the opportunity for that connection to happen. And friendships were born. Business relationships were hatched. Breakthroughs were experienced. And so many of the women said, I had no idea how lonely I was. I had no idea that I wasn't alone in the way that I'm feeling in my life. And I had no idea how misdirected I've been operating my life, how I've been in this robotic, reactionary mode in my life instead of being empowered and intentional. And what an extraordinary wake-up call this was for these women, these attendees. And what they realized is they now had a blueprint for their lives to say, oh my, this is what's working well in my life, what I want to enhance, and this is where I'm not happy. And I didn't understand that this is the reason why, because when you operate your life in ambiguity, which is what most people do, they're not asking them questions. They are not asking themselves questions, and they're not asking themselves the right questions. And then all of a sudden, you get the clarity, the focus, and the direction is what we did over those 3 days. All of a sudden, you are much more decisive in your life, much more confident in your life. And now you have direction, and you now have this deciphering filter to figure out, well, is this helping me or hurting me towards my goals, right? Is this time well spent in my life, or am I wasting my time right now? Because all I have is today. That's all I have. And how do I want to use this day in my life? So it was an extraordinary event. And the feedback was so good that I think I'm going to have to do another one. I don't know when, so stay tuned. We need to figure that out. We need to still recover from the existing one, but it was just such a phenomenal experience. And it was all focused on you and your level of self-worth, levels of self-love, levels of self-confidence, which is what we're talking about today. It's such a hot topic, and giving you the direction that you need in your life. So I'm going to invite you to stay tuned to it, because we will definitely have more information once we figure out when that is going to be. But I don't know if I'll be able to have time to get it in before the end of this calendar year. But certainly by January, I'm thinking is when we're going to do it. So Kelly's smirking at me over there. She's like, oh, here we go again. So anyway, if you missed the last one, then you need to come to the next one. It really is 3 days of your life where you shut out the rest of the world and tune into you. And there is no better investment in time and energy than for you to do that. Be selfish to yourself in a really good way. Everything else can be put on hold. So that's what's going on here. And so now I want to bring on Elle. And oh wait, before I do that, let me tell you what the intention statement is today. Sometimes I forget my own format of my own show. We always have an intention statement for you. And so while the theme of our show is confidence today, our intention statement is this: I have today to own my confidence. I have today to own my confidence. And what we do every single week on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official is there is a button there called wallpaper. And Kelly creates the most beautiful photos of what our intention statement is. It's wallpaper for you to use on your phone. And so here, she already created today. So it's, I have today to own my confidence. This is what it looks like. But if you go to my page on Instagram, I have today, I'm sorry, Diane Forster Official, and you see the wallpapers there. There is a library of them. So scroll through them and pick the ones that you like. And what's so great about doing this is it allows that intention for you to get anchored, because every time you look at your phone, which is 150 times per day on average, crazy. That's a topic for another show and another day. But you get to look at it and you see it. And then all of a sudden, that starts creating new neural pathways in your mind for that to start happening for you. So for you to really start owning your confidence, it's just another enhancement in your life. It's just another way to connect back to what's really important to you. So you can find that the ticker's running right there at Diane Forster Official. All right. All right, so let me bring on Elle right now, and let's get into our powerful interview. Hey, Elle, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. So happy to be here. And I just want to say, you know, both of us in California, I got goosebumps when you were talking about all of these amazing heroes that are out there fighting to protect us and save us. And it never gets old. You know, California firefighters and the EMTs are just amazing. So I just want to highlight that and echo that gratitude.
Well, beautiful words and well said, right? We can't thank them enough for what they do. It's just so incredible, you know, what they do for everybody else and use their lives and risk their lives to save other lives. So, well, welcome to the show. So I can't wait to get into our conversation, but I want to illuminate you. So let me just tell the viewers and the audience a little bit about you, okay? Elle Russ is a best-selling author, TV and film writer, public speaker, and seasoned coach. She is the author of Confident as Fuck, there I said it, and The Paleo Thyroid Solution, a book which has helped thousands of people around the world reclaim their health. She is also the screenwriter of the award-winning documentary Headhunt Revisited. Elle is the host of two shows, Mark Sisson's popular Primal Blueprint podcast, which has over 18 million downloads, and co-host of Kick-Ass Life podcast. Elle began her writing career in sketch comedy and is an alumni of the world-famous comedy theater, Second City in Chicago. Hey, I lived in Chicago for 24 years. I didn't know we had that in common. So
I can tell by your accent. I was going to
ask you. And also a main company alumni of the renowned Acme Comedy Theater in Hollywood, where she wrote and performed in over 100 live sketch comedy and improv shows. Elle has also appeared as an actor in TV and films. Quite the resume that you have. And I know that's just scratching the surface. There's so much more. So let me just say, I'm so honored that you're here being a guest on I Have Today, and that we get to spend this time and you get to share your brilliance with the audience.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a really important topic because while a lot of people can be at ground zero with confidence and really feel like they need it, or they feel like they need a little bit more, but everybody wants it. And so, you know, if you're out there listening, there might be some, even if you're highly confident, there's something I might say that will help you refine that, because confident people have some pitfalls too. So this is one of my favorite discussions, and it's something that everybody wants and needs, and you kind of can't go without. You're never going to get anything in life that you want from the bedroom to the boardroom unless you speak up and unless you go after what you want with confidence.
I love that, from the bedroom to the boardroom. Yes, well said. All right, so can you share a little bit about your background and your story and your journey to what got you here today? I mean, amazing, but I know it was a journey.
It was a major journey. And basically, you know, everyone's probably heard the quote, you know, when you make plans, God laughs. That was absolutely my story. I grew up where my father had like kind of lost all of our money in the stock market. And so I had this thing of like, I'm going to go out there and make sure that I make as much money as possible so that I'm secure and I never have to worry about anyone supporting me, or any of this kind of stuff. And so I did. I went to college and my goal was I'm going to go become a lawyer, because for me, the benchmarks were clear. You get the job, you know what it means to take partner, you know what that cost of living, you kind of know where you're going to go with that. So I got a job out of college, just sort of like a administrative assistant position at a tech company. And it was growing so fast. This was in the heyday of when, approaching Y2K and the tech boom in San Francisco. And next thing you know, I'm promoted a bunch of times, and I am 22 years old, and I've got 100 men throughout the state of California that I'm managing on various Fortune 500 projects or projects at Fortune 500 companies. I had the Armani suit, I had the corner office, I was killing it. And so at that time, I'm making so much money, and I say to myself, I'm not going to go back to law school. I'm making more than a starting lawyer now. I'm just going to stay here because this is looking really, really great. And honestly, life was great. I was more successful than anyone I had graduated with. No one had risen to these financial heights so quickly right after college within the first year. I felt like, my goal of achieving this financial security, I'm good. By the time I'm 35, I'm going to be retired with 15 Porsches in the driveway. Like, things are looking great. And then, the big joke happened there. That's where God or universe was laughing. And I sustained, and because of this job, got a permanent hand disability, which I still have to this day. You can't see it. I can do everything normally. I can go swimming. I can play a game of ping pong with you, but I can't use my hands repetitively 8+ hours a day. And I have a lot of physical limitations. And so this was a horrible day because literally my arms were not working at the time. I was in chronic pain 24/7. And so here I am just starting off my life. And then it suddenly ends, because anyone listening, I challenge you to find one job in this world that doesn't require the use of your hands repetitively 8 hours a day. You can't be a Starbucks barista. You can't be a waiter. You can't even work a checkout register. You certainly can't, lots of jobs. So other than being a radio show host or a public speaker or whatever, frankly, 22 years ago when this happened, what do? Go to NBC, knock on the door and say, I can only use my voice. So can you give me a show, right? And there weren't podcasts back then. So I couldn't jump online and do my own thing, right? So this started a 20-year journey of me trying to figure out how I was going to move forward, completely 40% disabled by the state of California. And, think about it. If you're in a wheelchair right now, you actually have more job opportunities than I do. So take that and feel good about that today, because honestly, that really is the truth. And so it was a terribly earth-shattering thing that happened to me. I can kind of laugh it off a little bit now, but it was no joke. And what that did was start also a journey of major shame. Here I am, an alpha female. I'm killing it in business, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm damaged goods. And my first thought when I couldn't move my hands, I couldn't even wipe myself. I couldn't run my hands through my hair without pain. It took a couple of years for me to even live a normal life. And so with my arms. And so it was a really horrific, like, why me? And also my first thought of shame came in at that moment. I was like, who's going to want me? Who is going to want me? I'm 22. My arms are dead. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I wouldn't choose a guy who had dead arms at this point. I can't raise kids. I can barely get myself out of the door in the morning. I can't even wipe myself. I know what it's like to get a kid out the door for school. I've worked with kids my whole life. So these were the thoughts that ran through my head. And that was so shame disables confidence. Let's just start there. So that's my journey. Then a few years into this, I get hypothyroidism like 10 years later. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like a second, like, are you kidding me? Right? You're like, this is, I'm cursed, right? Something's going on here. And so at that time, thankfully, because I didn't have to work, I had a long-term disability policy with my company. Now, granted, it was for very little money, like a preschool teacher's salary, which doesn't go far in California when you're single, but it was enough for me to be able to stay at home and really research and try to figure out what was going on with my body. And so I suffered 2 years undiagnosed. I went to over 24 endocrinologists and doctors in LA, including doctors that were mentioned in famous celebrities' books on hormones. I did it all. Nobody helped me. They were all uninformed. And so I actually took my health into my own hands and I fixed it myself, which I shouldn't have had to do because I have a philosophy degree. So the tenacity, the perseverance, I will say perseverance pays. I will also say this. Those are the two sort of seemingly worst things that could have happened in my life, and they were the best things that ever happened to me. So don't be staring a problem into the face and ripping on it because you don't know that it might not be the biggest gift you've ever received. And that is so true. So sometimes the biggest gifts in life come wrapped in poop, and it takes a minute, and you got to look at that. So that's my journey, and I've written about both of those things. I have a chapter in my book, Confident as F, called Shame Disables Confidence, which really goes into the details and all of the workings and interesting scenarios that happen with my disability. And then also the paleothyroid solution was, again, me saying, all right, no doctors could help me. I live in Los Angeles with the best medical professionals on earth. Here's how I did it. And there's a doctor also in the book as well, Dr. Forsman of Middle Path Medicine in California. And so that sort of just started everything. I wasn't really willing to admit the disability until actually a few years ago. So all of this time leading up to that, everything I did, nobody knew because I have something you can't see. So I thought I could shuffle that under the rug and it wouldn't affect areas of my life, and I was wrong. It does disrupt confidence. So here I am, I'm confident in almost every area of my life. But the way that the disability affected me was personal relationships and romantic relationships, because I didn't want to tell a guy I was dating that I was, I fear of rejection, fear they might think I'm a financial liability, fear of just being embarrassed that something is wrong with my body parts or whatever. They would question it. So, I had a lot of issues with vulnerability, which a lot of highly confident people do. And, these were gifts because my life is so much better now that I have navigated these challenges. And that's the one thing about confidence. It does provide an evolutionary edge. It helps us navigate new challenges and tests and social situations without fear and anxiety. But it took a lot of work to be able to just kind of come out with it. And so even after I'd written the paleothyroid solution and I had admitted this and told the disability story to everybody, they were so shocked because nobody knew. And I was like, well, that was exactly the plan. I didn't want anyone to get close to me because if they got too close, then I might have to tell this truth about myself. And we all have something like that. I don't care if you're embarrassed about moles on your back, or maybe you hit someone as a drunk driver 20 years ago and you went to jail for it and you're still ashamed about it. It doesn't matter what the shame is about. It will disable your confidence. And again, lots of other areas in life. So that's just one component. And I'll stop there because I could probably just keep going. So.
Well, no, I mean, I'm riveted to your story. Okay. What is the hand disease called?
So I have chronic. Yeah, absolutely. So I have a repetitive strain injury. That's no different really than you see baseball pitchers, right? They're pitching the whole year. Their arm gets nailed with the issue. They got to go out for a year to heal it. They come back, they still get it. So I technically have tendonitis and tenosynovitis in both of my arms, leading all the way up to my neck. Luckily, and I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me, I live 95% of my life pain-free, but I do have flare-ups. I have to make adjustments. There's certain things like I'm not going to be on the tennis league, and I love tennis, but I might be able to play tennis a couple times a year with a friend. But yeah, so there's certain things that have had to get canceled from my activity levels. But for the most part, with all of the sort of, I swim, which is sort of physical therapy for me. So everything is good. And I have full mobility and I live a normal life, but I'm not going to help you move. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
right.
So yeah.
Hey, looking for the silver lining in it. That's kind of a silver lining. I can't help you move. Okay. Gosh, you touched on so many things, Elle. There, where do I want to start? So, okay. When
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say when this happened, when you were 22, how long after the hand diagnosis did the hyperthyroidism diagnosis happen?
The hypothyroidism, just wanted to correct you there, because hypo is overactive.
Yeah, correct. Say it again.
It happened about hypothyroidism is underactive and hyperthyroidism is overactive. I had hypothyroidism and most people do. So 200 plus million people in the world have hypothyroidism issues, and that's 25 plus million Americans. It is absolutely sort of epidemic, and 1 in 8 women will get it in their lifetime, and it is disproportionately a women's issue. So that hit me about 10 years later. And so again, when I got hit with that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is not happening. Like, I already had a health thing happen. How dare you, universe? How dare you? Right. So, but you know what? Honestly, 2 of the best things that ever happened to me, every moment I suffered for 6 years in my 30s, 6, 7 years, which were really wasted to solving a couple of bouts of hypothyroidism, every moment I suffered is worth it for all of the people I've helped around the world. There is no doubt about it. And this is where, your test becomes your testimony and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely true. These two things are things now that I speak on that inspire others, help people with their health and their confidence. And so again, all positives. And I'm not sure if we want to really, maybe it would be helpful for me to define confidence and go into it, because I think a lot of people have a misconception of it.
Yes, I would love for you to define it and then give some ways that you were able to boost yours, and tips for the audience. So
sure. So one of the things, sometimes people who are quiet people get a little offended when you talk about confidence, because they feel that's this outward bravado kind of performance confidence like I have right now. Like you and I are very confident on camera. This is what we do. That is a learned skill that anyone can learn. But that doesn't mean that when I get off this interview or I get off a stage of 50,000 people, that I can have a conversation with my neighbor or my loved one. It's not confidence. It's just performance confidence. So I want to say to the quiet people out there, some of the most confident people are the quietest people in the room. And if we really define what confidence is, because a lot of people think it's cocky or they think confidence has these negative qualities to it. Confidence is not a fixed anchored quality within you. Okay, so your levels of confidence are always the sum of the thoughts you think and the actions you take. So it's not really reflective of your actual capacity to succeed at something, but it's more reflective of your belief in your ability to prevail in life in general or at a specific endeavor. And so since you can change your thoughts and actions, confidence and self-esteem is absolutely within everyone's reach. If you're at ground zero, and I had a friend at ground zero who didn't have their first friend till they were 35 years old because they couldn't even talk to a waiter at a restaurant. They were debilitatingly shy. Now, in that scenario, they hired a social coach to take them to the 3rd Street Promenade and Outdoor Mall in California and would help them go approach, the barista at Starbucks or whatever and start a conversation. So even if you're at ground zero, you can get there, because this person today is the most outgoing person. They walk up to everybody, way more outgoing than me, and I never had really an issue with shyness. So that is within your reach. It's within everyone's reach. And again, what are the benefits? Well, confident people are more trusted. When I was hiring people for a living, look, employers would rather hire a more confident person with less skills than a person with the skills who doesn't have confidence. And why is that? Because confident people are often really, they're proactive, they're on time, they think outside the box, they learn what skills they don't know, and they're sort of ahead of the game. And again, whether it's false or not, it's something that we see as attractive. It also is the ultimate in authenticity. Confident people tell it like it is. Now, confidence is not nasty. So if you have a nasty bully boss, she's just a bee. She's not confident. That's, being a bully is the misuse of confidence, really. It's not confidence, but it's sort of like underlying and misuse. So that's not the case. And also some of the quietest people in the room are the most confident. It's about being okay with yourself wherever you go, that when you walk in a party, you could stand there alone and be totally fine. And I want to bring up a quote that I thought was really revealing. And it's interesting, and it might take a minute for people to simmer on it, but when I simmered on it, it killed me. It's from Andre Dubus, and the quote is, "Shyness has a strange element of narcissism, the belief that how we look and how we perform is truly important to other people." Think about that, because that's true, and that's tough to hear. I know that sounds harsh, but really that's what that is. It's a very self-aggrandizing sort of, all about you.
It is.
And so
it is. That is good.
It's a good one. And so, that's tough. But the thing is that confident people, comfortable with failures and mistakes, speak with authority, dependable, reliable, trustworthy. We encourage other people to be successful. If confident people don't compete. Okay, so that's that. We're leaders, we're decisive. Again, it's the authenticity, which really reigns supreme. Really, the best compliment that I get from people over the years is like, well, I'll pay a compliment to someone or something, and they'll say, well, you know what? That means a lot to me because I know you don't blow smoke. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you got that. That is a compliment I'm willing to accept. It's true. People trust me more because they know I'm not going to BS them. But people pleasers are a different story. And that's where you get into, again, acquiescing to what other people you're agreeing with what they like and don't like, even if you don't, just because you're afraid of what they might think of you. And again, this creates like covert contracts, weird competitions, jealousy between people. Confident people are not jealous. They don't compete with other people. And so how do you get confidence if you haven't gotten it? Well, in my book, I sort of, instead of just a book of acronyms or tidy to-do lists, this is really about Confident as F is about going through the areas of your life and scraping off these barnacles. So the first one is we got to look at parental garbage. The next one is we got to look at downers. How am I being a downer towards other people's confidence? And who are the downers in my life that I need to push away or maybe not tell my $1 million dreams to anymore because they keep shooting me down? Because the bottom line is this, and people need to get real with this. Everybody in this world is going to project a lack of confidence to you about everything. You tell them, I want to be a singer. Well, you know what? You never really sang before. Oh, there's one dig, right? It doesn't matter. I want to start a new business. Well, be careful. 50% of new businesses fail. My answer would be, well, how about I'm on the side of the 50% that succeed? So F off. And that's how I'm going to look at it. So, this is going to happen with everybody. And how are you going to allow other people's opinions of you to affect how you feel about you? That would be the ultimate of insanity, yet we do it a lot. So it's about scraping off the barnacles, protecting oneself, and then really digging deep into the self-empowerment. And if we have time, I'd love to give one small example that I think is really important because this example is something that is seemingly innocuous in someone's childhood that has horrifically affected their career. And so this is the story of Brandon in my book. And Brandon is currently about 40 years old. But Brandon, for the past couple of decades, is a contractor on various jobs. And every single job he was on, something would go wrong. And he'd get blamed for it, whether it's his fault or not. And the way he'd get blamed for it is this sort of nasty person he continually worked with on these contracts would yell at him in front of the entire crew and everybody. And it was just demoralizing. And he never spoke up. And so we're talking about this one day. And I said, well, hold on a minute, Brandon. This doesn't happen to anyone else I know. So what is it about you and people in positions of authority and feeling like you're always wrong? Like, were you always wrong as a kid? What happened with your parents? It took 2 seconds to discover. Great middle class upbringing. Nobody got beaten or molested. Everyone had food and everything they needed. But the father was a little bit of a hothead. And what he would do is, like, let's say something went missing, like the hammer. He would blame Brandon. Where'd you take it? I know you stole it. Where are you hiding it? And Brandon didn't take it. Then his dad would find the hammer and never apologize. So bingo, Brandon was always made to be wrong. And, even when he wasn't.
Always to blame.
And this was transferring over into his work. So what we did was I said, okay, well, this is going to happen again with Joe, your manager who's a jerk. This is going to happen again. And here's the thing that everyone needs to know. It's going to keep happening until you listen. Because no, Brandon didn't like what was going on. He didn't like the dynamic. Then he finally stepped up. We coached, did a set, worked on it. And so here's what he did. We knew it was going to happen again. And at that point, it was a matter of, I have to speak up. Never comfortable the first time, sometimes not comfortable the fifth time, but you have to do it. And so we got him to a place where he felt good about maybe possibly being fired that day, right? Because, he had to gauge if he was going to speak up. He might have gotten fired. You got a mortgage to pay, et cetera. So you got to gauge that stuff. But it did happen again. And when it did happen, Brandon stood up and said exactly what we talked about. He said, hey, I'm not going to be spoken to like that. So unless you're going to speak to me in a professional manner, moving, here on out, that's it. I'm off this job. You have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It worked. And I tell you why it always almost works, because bullies don't know what to do when you hit them, when you hit them back. They don't know what to do. They acquiesce. When you call a bully on their shiz, they are frozen. And so he apologized. He was embarrassed in front of all of his, he just got called out. And then what happened after that? What I am not surprised happened. Not only did Brandon never get messed with by this manager again, but he started to bring in more jobs with other different project managers, and they were all wonderful. And nothing went wrong. And he was never blamed. In fact, it was the opposite. People would email him afterwards and go, we loved working with you. What a smooth project. Da, 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 da. And I wish I could bottle the confidence that Brandon had the day he spoke up. And also, it gives me goosebumps right now because, we need to fuel our own confidence by doing these moves that are sometimes a little bit scary. Now, I will say this. Almost, if you have a theme in your life, like Brandon had the theme on the jobs, right? That was his theme. He was always getting yelled at, something always went wrong, whatever, being patronized. Everyone's got a theme. You know what it is because you
Yeah.
look at your life and go, what keeps happening to me that sucks? Okay. So that was Brandon's. And I will say this, once you tackle a challenge like that and you overcome it, don't be surprised if the universe delivers you a tester. You will get a tester to say, are you really? Did you really get this one? And so Brandon did get a tester. He had a situation on a new job with a new person who kind of snapped and was a little bit crappy with him. And he said, hey, nope, not going to accept that. Immediately called me, elated, jumping for joy. Again, wish you could bottle the confidence because it feels good, because it's in our, back to paleontology, primal. It is our primal instincts to do so. It's in our nature to say, hey, to stand up for other people, to draw boundaries. So if you're not willing to do that in this life, you've really lost that connection to what is really available to you as a primal human being. And also, too, it's going to keep happening. Your Brandon story is going to keep going on, you know? And so again, it's sometimes the stories we tell ourselves. It's sometimes a parent who said you're going to amount to nothing, and that's what's in our head. And if that was your lack of confidence because you were beaten as a kid and told you never amount to anything and you were horrible and stupid, oh my gosh, sorry for your experience. But I will say this is going to sound harsh. It's time to parent yourself. Are you going to let them win? Are you really going to let that crappy parent who said all those things to you be right because you decided to make them right? Not if I can help it. We got to dig in there. So I know that's a run there I did, and I'm not sure how we are in time, but
no, that was really good.
That becomes a big thing. Yeah.
I love your description of, scraping off the barnacles. It's so true because everybody has them. Of course, they have many, many, many. I love that, there was a theme running in his life and you niched it, you found it. And this is the thing that people have to examine within themselves. Exactly how you said, whatever crappy is going on in my life right now, there's something there, and there's that story. And I call them, you got to get rid of the dandelions that are living in the subconscious, like those weeds that are in there, and you got to get rid of them and replace them with a bed of roses. And I want to also comment about confidence. Confidence is exactly what you said. It's not that image of the, person who comes in who's so strong and has this tendency to bully or overtake or control or anything. Confidence has this beautiful elegance to it. It really does. When you own your worthiness, your birthright, your opinions, your beliefs, what matters to you, and you don't listen to, the opinions of others because that's what a lot of it is. And I talk about this a lot. Like if you say that you want to do this thing and you want to start that business, and people say, 50% of businesses fail. They are literally, have they done it? Have they tried? Most of them have not. Where they're coming from is either their own lack of confidence, right? Their own insecurity, or their feelings of unworthiness because they don't have the balls, the cojones to try it. And so they're just going to interject that, which all of that is these limiting beliefs that stories we got told, things that we bought over time. And that chips away and chips away and chips away at our confidence. So I love your story. I love Brandon's story, how once he got that and timelined it back and nailed it, and then all of a sudden stood up for himself, because you really just need that first time to do that, and what confidence that takes. And you said it, Elle, like he felt on fire. He felt so good. He felt so strong. And then all of a sudden he shifted his power and his energy, not in a manipulative way, but in a very confident, setting healthy boundaries, controlling way, saying, I'm not going to be treated like this by you or anybody else. And it backs the bully off. So it's great, great, great story. Great work that you're doing and enabling people to operate in their lives this way. I hope the audience is getting a lot out of this and seeing and thinking and trying connecting your own dots in your life where shame has come in, being, feelings of low self-worth, and where your confidence has taken some hits in life. And where is that showing up? Where's that showing up in your today? Fantastic. That's so great. Well, I love it.
So for nowadays, right? So, hey, the world is on fire in a million different ways, not just
literally.
So,
Right.
so what are you going to do? You need to get that job. You need to interview. You need to write. What are you going to say when the person interviewing you is like, what are your top 5 qualities? Why should I hire you? So that's not the time for humility. No, like it's not braggadocious to. Here's the thing. We know the difference between bragging and confidence. Bragging is insecurity. We notice it. We sense it. We sense that someone's trying to impress us with who they know or whatever the deal is. And that just, it always feels, because it's insecure. But I can sit here and tell you, like, I can say I'm a really proficient public speaker and I kick ass at it. And there's nothing cocky about that. That's just the case. But I want everyone to walk into every room or go everywhere they are feeling confident in their own skin and body, but comfortable with who they are. Again, confidence is seemingly elusive, but I will say that, again, some of the quietest people, you know what I mean? You need confidence if you're a stay-at-home mom. Okay. So this is not about like, being a speaker or CEO or like us having a show and being out there on camera. You're going to have to go talk to your friends, to your daughter's child's mother, who's going to be a pain in the whatevers. And it's going to come up as a stay-at-home mom. Even you need confidence to go to the school, talk to whatever the issues are. You need it in every area of your life. So just because you're listening and because I'm a performance confidence person and I'm out here, that doesn't mean that this isn't applicable to you. It still is. You still need it too. And as well, what I find is that a lot of people have confidence in an ability about a thing, maybe their intelligence, maybe they're confident in themselves as a painter or a singer, but they don't have the confidence to put it out there. No one's going to come to your home and knock on your door and ask if you have any paintings. You have to sell yourself. This is a world of self-promotion. It's just how it is. It's not the time for like, well, I want to be humble. I don't want to. What does that mean? It just means hiding your talents or that you're afraid of appearing to be cocky. Well, again, that's all stuff that's projected. You're just projecting things about what other people might think of you right back onto you. And, again, this is one of my favorite ones is a real small scenario where a woman was online dating and said, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. This is all this rejection. And I said, what do you mean rejection? And she goes, well, I email all of these men and like no one emails me back. And it's a lot of rejection. And I said, well, what if you found out that all the guys that never emailed you back were like, had a criminal rap sheet, beat their last wives, drug addicts? Right. I go, would you feel so rejected then? And I'm like, of course you wouldn't. The answer is no. You'd feel like you dodged a bullet. So in that scenario, she is projecting what someone else she doesn't even know might think of her. We don't even know, and projecting it right back onto her to make herself feel bad about herself. This is kind of insanity when you break it down and we talk about it this way. The feelings are the feelings, but if we really look at them, we break this stuff down like we do with Brandon or any of this stuff, it's clear, right? That's kind of crazy.
It is. We are so aligned in so many ways. I am with you 1,000%. And I do want to compliment you because when we were introduced to each other and we connected, I just want to speak to the kind of person that you are. You were so humble and so giving and wonderful with me, like immediately from the get-go. What can I do to help you? What can I do to support you? Which just showed how confident you are in your life. And you are highly successful. You are well known. You are doing extraordinary, work in the world, and you're not cocky at all. And oh crap! I was just going to say one other thing about that. Darn it! I lost my thought.
Well, on that note, though.
So anyway, I want to compliment you on that.
That's an important note, though, because that is what you just described about me. Thank you very much. Is again, it's a non-compete. Women need this more than ever. We got to get pro-women. Enough of these housewife reality shows with people doing this stuff. Women don't compete with each other. We help each other out. And if you are hanging out with women who you sense are jealous of you, they're out or they're minimized.
Right. Yeah, so true. You came into this world as one. You're leaving this world as one. Your role while you're on this earthly journey is to shine like the bright star that you are. And that's not cocky, that's confident. And you have to bring all those gifts to the world. And somebody else's opinion does not matter. Nobody gets to grant you permission to live your life to your highest, greatest, fullest potential. And you are a shining example of that, Elle. So amazing. So, we're just about out of time for our interview, but I want the audience to find out, how can they find out more information about you first? Is that website?
Yeah, you can just go to elleruss.com and everything is there. You can click on podcasts if you want to link to the podcast. Every Monday is a Primal Blueprint episode where I interview people in mind, body health and paleo primal ancestral health. And then also Wednesday is Kick-Ass Life podcast with myself and Coach Tara Garrison, where we're just talking about stuff. That's a video episode too as well, and a YouTube channel where we're talking about all of the things that, help you create a kick-ass life, whether it's talking about the power of subconscious mind and all that stuff. So we just have a lot of fun, but elleruss.com. And I just want to throw out there that if anyone does have a thyroid issue or is not yet, not doing well with thyroid, you don't have to buy my book. I have a free thyroid guide on my website. It tells you every test to take, what time of day to take it, how to maybe call a doctor's office with a list of questions to see if they know what they're talking about and they might be the right practitioner. So please, that's there because I suffered for so long without any guidance. And so that's just free for everybody to kind of get on the right path with thyroid if that's what you're dealing with right now.
That is fantastic. Thank you for that. Well, we will have links for your website and we will also have links for both your books in the description area. So if you're interested, I highly recommend that you get Elle's books. And one last question for you that I ask all my guests. How do you live the I Have Today way intentionally with passion and purpose? I mean, you're a shining example of it, but...
Wow, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, I guess I would say if we're looking at like I have today, I like what you said earlier. It's like, it's today. If it kind of gets chumped up, you got tomorrow. You know what I mean? And to start every day like that, like it's a new experience. For me personally, because, I'm a high achiever, I need to take the time to set aside where I wake up and I put on the affirmations that are going, right? With yep. just again, bring it into before I'm on email, before I see some headline that's no doubt not going to be fun in this 2020 world. Before any of that happens to me, I try to hit my subconscious with a little bit of, again, I think that just sort of present moment and gratitude. And oftentimes it's just me playing like affirmations from YouTube or something that someone's done and just kind of listening to them as I'm getting my coffee together to kind of set me straight for the day.
That's awesome. So you do that mindset work. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It was an extraordinary interview. I loved spending time with you and sharing this space with you. And hopefully we'll have you back soon because I would love to have you back and continue this conversation. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. And look forward to having you on our show here soon in the next few months.
I can't wait. All right. Well, now we're going to transfer over to the Mentor Me Minute segment. Wasn't that a great interview with Elle? She's just phenomenal. All right, so let's get to it. This is the segment where I take your questions live. Either you email them into us at dianeforster.com/mentorme, or you put them here in the chat box. So let's get to it. What is question number one? Okay, I need to lose weight. And I'm sorry, let me say it again. I need to lose weight, and no matter how hard I try, I seem to gain back every pound I lose. What am I doing wrong? Oh, Jackie in Connecticut. Okay, Jackie, the first thing you're doing wrong is saying that. You need to stop saying that. So our thoughts create our feelings, which creates our language and communication, which creates our manifestation. So that is a story that you are telling your subconscious mind. So you keep programming your mind to say, no matter how hard I try, I seem to gain back every pound I lose. What am I doing wrong? So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you is you've got to readjust that mindset, okay? And actually, you know what? Let's give her, well, you're definitely going to get an I Have Today mug. If you send me a private message on Facebook and give us your shipping address, we're going to send you an I Have Today mug. And then I'm also going to suggest I've got a free opt-in for you. It's called My Ideal Body. And Kelly, I hope I don't screw this up, but that is at dianeforster.com/My Ideal Body. That is a downloadable Audible. It is a mantra meditation. I'm going to do a live one at the end of the show, quickly coming up here. that will allow you to reprogram your subconscious mind and the way you feel about your body. You will fall in love with your body. And when you start loving on yourself, just as you are right now, and listen to the words, listen to it every day. It's under 5 minutes a day, easy peasy to do. What it's going to do is it's going to start opening up new neural pathways in your subconscious mind, and you're going to start feeling better about yourself. You're going to start focusing on the areas of your body that you do love and pay less attention to the things that are wrong with it, because what we give our attention to expands and it grows. So if you're focusing on language like this and feelings of unworthiness, like you can't do it, it's a struggle, it's hard, it's going to continue to keep cycling like that. So just do those two little things. Be aware of what your words are. Don't say this anymore. Start telling your subconscious a different story, and the My Ideal Body mantra meditation will help you. So again, DianeForster.com/My Ideal Body. Okay. Thank you for that question. Next question is, I started my business 9 months ago in the same industry I worked in previously, but I haven't even made my first sale. How long should I keep going? I'm afraid my money is going to run out. Okay, this is screaming with confidence, right? Okay, who is this? This is Steve in New Jersey. Hi, Steve. Oh, okay, Steve. This is so much about confidence. How long should you keep going? You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to visualize that first sale. You've got to tap into your mind and go to the signing of that contract. Go to the celebration. Go to visualizing who is that right fit client for you. What does he or she do? I don't know your industry, so I can't help you with that, but you have ideal customers, and clearly you decided to start your own business from an industry that you worked in, which meant I'm sure you did really well in it. So you got to pull back that feeling of confidence when you were doing deals and they were going really well. That's going to help with it. But you've got to visualize that first signature happening. Imagine yourself shaking hands or high-fiving, signing the contracts. Open up a bottle of champagne, celebrating, get to that visualization and that feeling place of it. You have to believe in you first. And that's the thing. When things aren't working out, there's something stuck in your self-confidence. So I'm going to tap into what Elle just said and try to tap into a time in your life when you were bucking up against something. Maybe it was in your parenting, maybe with your family, maybe it was a job or an ice cream or an ice lemonade stand or something that you started where you were told negative things about it. I mean, I'm just pulling this out of the air, but think about that too. But in order for you to create your future, which we all create our future, we all create our reality, is you've got to go there and you have to see it. All right. Don't put your focus and energy on the fear and the lack of the money running out. Actually go to the experience of signing that right fit client. Design that person in your mind, see it, and see the whole thing happening. All right, I hope that helped. Okay. All right. Wow, this show went by so fast. Elle was amazing. This was focused on confidence, and she had so many nugget bombs there. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to offer you a free gift of ours. And it's my free training video called My Have It All Life. It's at myhaveitalllife.com. And what this free video training is it is a 3-step blueprint for you to figure out what it is you want in life and how to create a have it all life. Truly, no limits. No limits. When you understand this 3-step process and this blueprint, it is going to illuminate things for you and open up what I call the portal to abundance. So it's fabulous. It's free. The link is right there. It's called myhaveitalllife.com, and you can get unstuck. You can learn more about confidence. You can start owning your power to truly break through and get the clarity, focus, and direction you need in your life. All right. That's our free gift for you this week. And now I am going to do our mantra meditation and tie in everything that we learned today. So I only have a couple minutes to do it, so it's going to be a brief one, but I'll make it powerful. So sit with your feet, legs uncrossed, flat on the ground. Obviously, don't do this if you're driving. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to breathe in for the count of 4, hold it for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 8. And we're going to do that twice. Then just listen to the words. Okay, here we go. Breathe in for 4. Close your eyes. Hold it for 4. And breathe out for 8. Like you're blowing out birthday candles, get all that air out. All right, breathe in for 4. Hold it for 4. And breathe out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I have today to live and own my confidence. I understand my power. I am in the one that's in control of my life. I hold the power. I get to decide and choose how I want to live, how I want to feel. And I am no longer going to be a victim in my life. I am no longer going to put the opinions and beliefs of anybody else in front of mine. Now, that's not to say that I don't care about people. I care deeply about people. But I understand that my opinion is the only opinion that matters. It truly is the only opinion that matters. And that is so extraordinary. I can let go of pain and limiting beliefs from my past that are no longer a factor in my life. That's not happening to me now. I have today to live in my power, decide how I want to live, decide what's important for me, and go after it unabashedly. No limits. Nothing can stop me. If I believe it, it is so. And so I'm choosing to live in my confidence and my worthiness and know that there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that I can't be, do, or have. I'm worthy. I deserve it. I love myself. I honor myself. And I am going to shine like the bright star I am. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, that's it for this week's episode of I Have Today. I want to thank Elle, Russ for being here. I want to thank you for being here. And remember, all you have is today. So live this day to the fullest. Take care. Bye-bye.